Marvel is one of the biggest names in entertainment. They've been creating beloved superhero stories for like 100 years now. They have the most well-known and most recognizable characters of all time, second only to Jesus Christ, I imagine. Everyone knows the characters, seen the movies, or read the comic books. I myself am not a big comic book reader. I don't read many stories or anything of that nature. I don't read manga or shit like that. Maybe I'd read more Marvel comics if they had some hentai issues. But overall, I'm just not a huge fan of the medium. Nothing but respect for people that are, though. And yesterday, Marvel Comics made history by announcing something that nobody in the world liked. They announced the New Warriors comic series, which was received with overwhelming sighs and just a thunderous amount of disinterest. I swear to God, there's more hype in a retirement home when someone finally finishes bingo than for New Warriors. People get more excited in a public library when someone drops their pencil on the floor. Nobody was excited about it, and when they released it, a lot of people just felt downright insulted.
So the first character that we're introduced to is Trailblazer Law, and she inherited from her grandfather a magic backpack of divine origin.
So this is the first character we're introduced to in the Marvel New Warriors announcement, their fucking E3 press conference here for New Warriors. This is Trailblazer, and her superpower is having a magic backpack. So she's basically just Dora the Explorer. And the backpack itself looks like Ben 10's Omnitrix if it was butt-fucked by a laser tag vest. Now, I think it's a pretty lame superpower just to have a magic backpack that you pull things out of. Like, I can't really see that being super fun in a crime-fighting situation, you know? We're fighting the supervillain and my teammate's dehydrated, but luckily Trailblazer had a bottle of water in her super backpack. She saved the day. It's just, that's not really interesting from a superpower perspective, but there's nothing inherently silly or wrong about it. I just think it's kind of boring. What we get into and what most people have a problem with is the next few characters, because this shit is just so ridiculous.
Screen Time is a internet kid taken to its sort of logical conclusion. As a youth, he was exposed to his grandfather's experimental internet gas, and that has patched him permanently into the World Wide Web.
This is where people started to roll their eyes because this shit just gets so fucking dumb. So Screen Time is the result of a teenager being exposed to their grandfather's experimental internet gas. What the fuck is experimental internet gas? Was his grandfather harvesting farts from a Twitch chat shit poster or something and then accidentally released it in the house? That's some of the laziest writing I've seen in a while. Fucking fanfic has better explanations for how a character gets their powers. If you really wanted to make sense of it, why not just have it be like, you know, he was a programmer who made a virtual reality game but accidentally locked himself in it and now he's stuck in there and, you know, caught in between the real world and the augmented world. Or even use fucking Wi-Fi if you want. Throw around some like boogeyman Wi-Fi 5G shit maybe. Get the conspiracy theorists all riled up about Screen Time. I don't know, man. But fucking experimental internet gas. Screen Time is a meme-obsessed super teen whose brain became connected to the internet after becoming exposed to his grandfather's experimental internet gas. Still, I mean, that still just sounds so fucking dumb, especially when it's written down like that. His grandfather had internet juice and he accidentally drank from the bottle and now he's stuck in the internet. Now he can see augmented reality and real-time maps and can instantly Google any fact. You know who else can instantly Google any fact? Anyone else in the entire world who has a phone. It's not really a superpower. As you can clearly see, Marvel is struggling to come up with cool superpowers. A meme-obsessed super teen? They created a fucking Redditor. And he's actually worse than a Redditor. His only power to the group is being able to Google things. He's just a fucking cell phone with legs.
Snowflake and Safe Space are the twins, and their names are very similar to Screen Time. It's this idea that these are terms that get thrown around on the internet that they don't see as derogatory, to take those words and kind of wear them as badges of honor. Snowflake is non-binary and goes by they, them. Snowflake has the power to generate individual crystallized snowflake-shaped shurikens.
This is what made people the most upset. Snowflake and Safe Space. Let me preface this by saying I don't think there's anything wrong with Marvel taking this kind of approach to characters or using their comics to make political stances. It's totally within their right to do so, but this is the absolute worst possible way of going about it. Nobody appreciated this, and I fucking looked hard. I went through so many different Twitter threads. I went through the fucking swamp looking for anything I could find for anyone trying to say, good work, Marvel. There wasn't a single fucking person patting Marvel on the back for this shit. from the non-binary community, the vast majority of them felt insulted and embarrassed. They felt like they were being used as a joke by Marvel. And I see why, because this is the first non-binary superhero, and they named them Snowflake. That'd be like if the first homosexual superhero was called Captain Gay. I just can't imagine how they thought that was a good idea. They're not doing anything other than making these caricatures that just seem so out of touch. It's some ridiculous shit. Psychic twins. All twins are psychic, but we're psychic-er. That's such a fucking dumb line to kick it off. Snowflake can materialize snowflake-shaped shuriken. Projectiles for throwing and safe space can materialize pink force fields, but can't inhabit them himself. Reflex only works if he's protecting others. They're hyper-aware of modern culture and optics, and they see their superheroics as a post-ironic meditation of using violence to combat bullying. They're probably streaming this. That's just garbage. Actual fucking garbage. Set aside any personal beliefs or anything, these are just not good characters. The writing is bad. 100%. It's just terrible. It's actually fucking terrible. And they insulted the people that they really wanted to, empower with their characters. It just made it seem like they were turning them into a joke. It's fucking terrible what they've done. They've made the worst cast of characters I've ever seen in comic books. From lazy writing to just being so out of tune and tone deaf. It's absolutely wild. I don't know why they wouldn't just make like an actual interesting character with an interesting superpower that happens to be non-binary, instead of making it something so on the nose like, here's Snowflake and safe space. Like it's so silly. And then the last character is a fucking vampire. B negative is the goth kid. When he was a baby, he got a rogue life-saving blood transfusion, we assume from Michael Morbius, and now he has a very similar look and very similar vampire powers. B negative ages like a regular person, or does he? Who gives a fuck? I don't think there was anyone reading about B negative and wondering, on the fucking edge of their seat, how is he aging? I don't think anyone was like, oh, he's going Benjamin Button style. I've got to know, how's he aging? And he definitely drinks blood. Or does he? Now I'm interested. Yeah, it's just fucking bad. It's terrible. It's actually fucking terrible. And that's really about it. I don't know what the fuck Marvel's doing. I don't think there's anyone that's, gonna go out there fucking day one launch of the new Warriors and buy these comic books. But who knows, maybe I'm wrong. That's about it. So yeah. Is this every Marvel movie and show? Because it doesn't look like it.
What was the most recent show?
What If?
WandaVision?
What If?
Yeah, no, that's there. It's down the bottom. Must be.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, there it is. Do they have the newest Spider-Man on here? I don't see it.
Right off the bat, the other problem is there's no F tier.
That's just because it's Marvel movies. There's no such thing as an F tier.
Oh, no, there is. We'll get into it. Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Well,
lowest possible
tier
tier.
to F tier.
Yeah.
Wait. Yeah, Spider-Man Home Alone is in there, It's not Home Alone, is it? What's it called? Home Away?
Home Sweet Home. I don't fucking know, man. I don't remember. A Long Way Home, I think?
Maybe.
They all have the word home in them, so good luck.
So do we agree with where I put Ant-Man and the Wasp? One of the worst ones?
Oh, absolutely.
Are we going to rename the categories, though?
No, we'll just do, S, A, B, C, F.
But S tier should be Stan Lee.
The Stan Lee tier?
Yeah, in memory of Stan Lee.
All right,
okay.
All right, there we go.
And F tier, just to make this more confusing, can we make that DC Comics?
No, it's gotta be James.
It has to be James Corden. That's fair.
It has to be the James Corden tier.
Well, where does Andrew Garfield Spider-Man fit in? Is that C tier?
Oh god.
Oh, wait, are those even on the list? I didn't see them.
They're not Marvel.
Oh, they're Fox. They're Fox.
Oh.
Okay, you're right. All right, so James Corden tier for Ant-Man and the Wasp. Yay or nay? How do we feel?
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
And now it's time to talk about Mech Arena. I'll toss it over to Jackson so he can give you all the juicy information.
Hey guys, Jackson here. So how cool are mechs, right? I know, it's obvious, they're super cool. And how do you feel about arenas? They're also pretty cool, right? Combine that and you get Mech Arena, the awesome 5v5 mech shooter that combines everything you love about arenas and mechs. Honestly, I could go on and on about this game. It's bright, the maps and mechs are beautifully detailed and varied, and it runs so smoothly and looks so good on almost any device. The gameplay is also super engaging and fun. There's a multitude of ways to play the game. Hold a choke point with a Zephyr mech, supporting your team while they cap a point, or maybe storm in with a Juggernaut and tank shots while dishing out your own damage. My personal favourite strategy though, is to deck out a Shadow mech with powerful shotguns and dart around the field behind the enemies before they even know what's happening. There's a lot here and it's just fun. Leveling up your mechs and customizing them is rewarding, and then using them to demolish the other team is awesome. I mean, what more could you ask for? There's just awesome 5v5 combat waiting for you in the comfort of your mobile phone. Mech Arena also has frequent in-game events and a great login rewards program as well that you definitely don't want to miss out on. You can find us in-game under the name Mech Moist, and my ID is on the screen right now. It's completely free to play on Android and iOS, and you can use my link in the description or scan my QR code to get 1 mil-spec skin, 500 A coins, and 70,000 credits to help kickstart your game. Go hit up the arena with your mech in Mech Arena.
So if you're interested in checking out Mech Arena, make sure to click the link in the description below to get started.
Now, I've always meant to ask you, but I've never remembered. Is it actually James Corden or is it James Corden?
I think it's Corden. I think that's how you pronounce
I like
it.
the way you say it. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna
you're giving him way too much credit. It's not Corden. That's way too fancy. That's like
It is-
That's like a French enunciation.
No, his name is James Corden. It's not Corden.
You don't say,
Pronunciation.
first of all, you're not meant to say it how he wants you to say it.
Oh, true.
You
Yeah,
don't give him that power. You say it how you want.
true.
Oh my god. I don't think any human can say it how this video pronounces it.
How does it say it?
Here, I'll let you listen to it. It's really bad.
How
It's
to
got some
pronounce?
phlegm in there as a robot somehow.
All right, let's see. Oh god, advertisement, Matt. What did you send me?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
You sent me malware.
Why do you not have ad blocker?
I do, just not
James
on Firefox.
Corden.
Oh, no, but on the wrong guy. I see. You're in for a treat.
James Corden.
This is how like an Irish person says it, I think.
Yeah.
James Corden.
Weird. Mine's just pronouncing it piece of shit.
James Corden.
So you're as adamantly against James Corden as well.
He's so unfunny, dude.
He's
I
one of
don't
my
watch
least
him,
favorite celebrities of all time.
I still just really want to get the invite to go on his show with Charlie, without him ever knowing how much Charlie hates him.
I'd love to be on his carpool karaoke.
Just sit there monotone, don't even talk to him.
Yeah.
That would be wonderful.
He's kind of like the Amy Schumer of male comedians, really.
Well,
Yeah, that's
funny you
exactly
say
what I
that.
said.
Because when we did our celebrity tier list, that's where we put Amy Schumer.
Yep.
Nice. Alright,
Alright,
so
what's the
Ant-Man and
next
the
movie?
Wasp into J. Should we go in order of when they started?
No, I think we just go in order of here. So,
Okay.
Ant-Man and the Wasp, I think, is one of Marvel's absolute stinkiest. I think there is nothing redeeming about that movie. The fucking villain and the hero have the exact same goal, and then at the end decide to work together. It makes no sense why there's even a conflict. At
Oh,
the-
look, all these spoilers. People might have been waiting to watch that one.
No. I'm saving them the trouble. Quite literally, the villain and the heroes want the same fucking thing at the end of the movie, and then just decide, yeah, we might as well just do it together. It makes no fucking sense. The movie's trash.
No.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Ant-Man and the Wasp is one of the only few Marvel movies that I haven't seen. So
Oh,
I'll
no
take
wonder
your
you're
word
such
for
a
it.
Marvel fan.
Mm.
I saw the only. I didn't see the only one that was bad apparently, so that's good.
It was so stupid. And the villain's power was vibration, so she can vibrate really fast and squeeze through things. So she like phases around through vibrating, which she can't stop vibrating. So she like starts phasing by accident. It's like a video game glitch, but as a person. And then
I
eventually,
believe that was the
Oh, that
same
sounds
problem
cool.
they had in Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah, that sounds cool though. What-
no,
You made it sound cool.
no, it's not.
How do
cool
they
at all.
stop her from vibrating so much?
I don't remember. They have to go back into like the small realm, like the baby realm together to like save his wife and save her from vibrating too much.
I
Now,
want to
I-
watch the movie you've described.
Yeah.
It's terrible. I hated
But
Ant-Man and the
It's
Wasp.
got Paul Rudd though, and Paul Rudd is so charismatic.
Well,
I
yeah,
find it hard
and
to
you
believe it would have to be a.
and you want to know the good Paul Rudd movie? Ant-Man 1.
Yeah.
That's a B tier.
I'm not. Oh, I don't know about BT. I was gonna put it in C.
No,
That movie's so forgettable.
it's not forgettable. I think it's very
I think-
good.
I think Ant-Man
and this is probably why I didn't see the second one, but I think Ant-Man is when Marvel movies started to get stale and repetitive to me. That's when I was like, okay, they're just doing the same thing over and over again.
That's when they really found their formula, but it doesn't mean it's bad. Thanks for the
I'm not
gift
saying
of
it's
butter.
bad. I'm saying it's C tier. It's just like, meh.
Matt, what are your opinions? Opine, please.
Oh boy, I'm once again between the B and C category. It was fine. I didn't think it was anything amazing. It looks great compared to Ant-Man and the Wasp. I would personally lean more towards the C than the B compared to other Marvel movies.
Agreed.
All right.
But I don't disagree with B or C. B minus C plus.
Yeah, it's kind of hard since we don't have a D, so C is actually
I was gonna
pretty
say C
solid.
feels stinkier than it should be because the D isn't there.
Yeah.
Can you add a tier? Let me see.
No, we'd
Don't
have to
be
re-
silly.
we'd
Yeah,
have to
no,
remake it.
you can. So go to the cogwheel next to C, at the end of C,
Oh,
and then go add a row below. There you go. And then
Oh yeah,
make
we
that
literally did that on the celebrity one. I forgot.
make that one half of James Corden. James Corden.
Just JC.
oh here. Well, we can also put an F tier now then too.
Oh, good work.
Wait, what? There's
They're
way too
saying
many
to
tiers now.
change the color
Shit.
of the new tier. This is how our celebrity one was, where the racists and murderers went in evil, and then James Corden and Amy Schumer went into James Corden.
There. See now there's
Hello.
there's proper separation now between James Corden and the rest of the pack.
There's so
Oh.
many tiers now, though. We should just have a tier for every specific movie.
No, not true at all. We're gonna have some D's and F's in here, and then James Corden is a fate worse than death.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. All right. What's the next one? Age of Ultron.
Yeah. And here we go. We immediately get to utilize D tier.
I agree with that. That's fair.
Yeah, I'm with you guys.
Oh my.
Especially after the first Avengers, like hype was at the max it could be, and then who directed it? It was Joss Whedon, right?
I think it was Whedon. Yeah, and he really fucking blew it, man.
Came in and slapped these nuts on Marvel's face and said, "I'll do my best to take this industry down with me."
Oh, it was such trash. There's nothing good about Ultron. The only good thing Ultron did was Vision and Scarlet Witch. I
I
like
was gonna say I liked both of them a lot.
they're good
but
characters, but they weren't even cool in the movie. They're just cool characters overall.
yeah,
They were cool later on, I would
Yeah.
say. Ultron was kind of cool, but mainly his voice, I think. That
Yeah,
was
his
it.
voice was lovely.
Thanks to tier 1 Kool-Aid.
Yeah, I'm fine with D. In fact, I'd probably even go F, but
By
No.
far the most forgettable Avengers, like
oh yeah, for sure.
Anything.
by
Yeah.
10 miles.
Anything Avengers related, Ultron I think is at the lowest end of that
Yep.
spectrum.
For
Absolutely.
sure. Not even close.
And this one is Infinity War. Infinity War to me is an A. I loved Infinity War.
I thought it was lovely.
I was gonna say Stan Lee. I think it's.
You were gonna go
one of the
Stan
best.
Lee?
Oh, I
Yeah.
forgot we even had that there.
Oh,
Yeah.
going Stan Lee. Yeah.
Think about it in terms of not only was it just a masterful stroke of filmmaking and an enjoyable product at the end, but it had the snap, which has just become such a cultural mainstay. I think like it stand the test of time.
Yeah, I really appreciated that they ended it on a sad note. Like it didn't have a happy ending. They didn't
That-
even try. I thought that was really cool. I'll go Stan
Which
Lee.
for them was such a change of pace.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was great. I
Infinity
don't
War
think you
really
can get
was
much
good.
better than it.
I actually have not seen this next one.
Captain Marvel.
Yeah, all I remember about Captain Marvel was all of the hate Brie Larson was getting off of it.
Yeah,
I
I think
was gonna go the opposite way and say we should probably put this in the top categories otherwise Brie Larson's gonna come after us.
she is a YouTuber now. She played a Nintendo Switch
she?
game once. Yeah, she played Switch
Whoa,
once.
Nice.
So
Nice,
she might even be
nice.
in the chat.
Yeah, S tier then. Fuck
All
yeah.
right,
Yeah.
good work.
Are you there, Brie?
I think
Not
it's.
there, going down to
I think overall it's a very mediocre movie. It's not like super great. It's not super shit either.
it hits the notes. It does what it's. I don't know what I
It's-
would expect a Marvel movie to do.
It's just super formulaic, which I guess I don't know. I guess I could make it a D tier because it's not like a really like great movie or a huge standout movie in the Marvel one. It's just a fine overall movie.
I think her character also comes across, at least to me, as like really unlikable. Like all of the
Yeah.
other all of the other main characters in Marvel movies are pretty charismatic and they stand on their own 2 feet and such. But then, like, I've never watched a Marvel movie and thought the main character hated me.
Yeah.
One
Yeah,
person in
definitely
chat
not
said A, so we have confirmed that Brie Larson's here.
Oh, that's good. Her PR manager's here at least.
Yeah, just spamming it over and over.
So on the moist meter, I don't remember what we gave this. I think we gave it a 70. Like I said, I think it's a fine movie, but in Marvel movies, it's just not very good compared to the rest.
We gotta judge this in relation to each other as well.
Yeah, not just as an overall movie, because like I said, I think it's a serviceable movie. Just for Marvel, kind of dog shitty compared to the rest.
Yeah, so
You
to
gave
put
it a
this way-
65.
Yeah, that sounds about right. To put it this way, though, if I was going through like a Marvel binge or whatever, Captain Marvel is one of the movies that I wouldn't be looking forward to watching again.
Now,
Coming up to.
there was that one guy who saw Captain Marvel over 200 times. Do you remember that?
God.
No. Why?
That I think he wanted to meet Brie Larson, which he eventually did. He saw it over 200 and something times during the first week of its premiere, I think.
Oh, like in theaters.
In
he paid
theaters.
for it.
In theaters, he paid for it over 200
And
times.
she humored him by meeting him because that's the last person she should actually meet.
Yeah, that's some psychopath energy shit. But
Wait,
yeah, they
so-
met.
200 times in 1 week? Did he invent a time machine just to do this?
Hold on, I'm gonna look it up so I don't besmirch this good man.
Yeah, if someone did that to me, if I was someone said that they watched my movie 200 times in 1 week, that would be like grounds for a restraining order.
I got
Yes,
it wrong. A Marvel fan in Wisconsin saw Captain Marvel 116 times.
Oh, that's not so bad anymore.
I slandered this poor guy.
That's absurd.
You painted
With
him as
movie
some kind of
prices, that's
weird
like-
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I made him sound like a weirdo. I'm sorry.
It's strange. 116, that's like $1.5 million at the movie theater.
That's pretty much how many times you saw Jurassic Park in theater, Jackson.
Yeah, but I didn't want to meet them. although I would have liked to have met them.
All right, we can make it happen.
Yeah.
If he can do that with Brie Larson, you can meet a T-Rex.
Yay!
This is what he said. The amount of time that it takes, I've had to take time off of work and take long lunch breaks to accommodate watching an entire movie in the particular time frame, and then just time on the weekends where I'm not doing other things. Nice.
How understanding do you think his boss was?
Oh, I mean, this is a world record, so I mean, I'm sure they patted him on the ass, gave him a raise.
Now, is the world record just for Captain Marvel or movies in general?
I think it was all movies, actually.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
What's the next one?
I think it's Winter Soldier. I can't read it.
Yeah, it's the Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier was so fucking good.
Yeah, I think Civil War's better.
Ooh, I don't know about that. I don't know. I think Winter Soldier might be better.
I was a big fan of both of them.
Take a stand. Choose a
I'm
side.
Yeah,
I'm
Matt.
thinking Jackson. Okay, I don't just shout out the first thing that comes to my mind.
Was Winter Soldier the one where Chris Evans holds a helicopter in place and flexes his bicep real
I
hard?
believe
Yeah.
that was where he holds the roof at the same time or whatever.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Didn't they say he like actually tore his bicep in real life?
No, now you're just getting lost in some fanfic, I
Here,
think.
let me see.
Oh wait. Was that Civil War? Maybe that was.
Oh,
Civil
they're
War.
saying it's Civil War. Okay, we got a... Uh-oh, we've got a monkey wrench here.
Chris Evans reveals Captain America injury.
He got too much pussy and his dick hurts. I don't know. It's probably not his bicep.
In quotes, I really messed up my arm. Getting too much pussy.
Yeah, fending off
Yeah.
the women.
I still think Winter Soldier's a better movie. I got the bicep timeline wrong, but I think Winter Soldier's better.
Really? What was your favorite moment from it, huh?
I don't know. I just think Bucky's super fucking cool.
Because I can name my favorite moment from
Bucky
Civil
is
War. It's when he was doing the bicep curl with the helicopter.
You know what? Fuck it. Fine. I'm on board. A for Civil War. B for Winter Soldier.
Oh yeah.
I'm too out of energy today to argue.
I still think even disregarding that, Civil War was the better movie. It had like the highest stakes. It had all of the characters there. It was such like a. It was like an
War
Avengers
was
movie.
a really sick. Yeah, it did feel like an Avengers.
I'm just
movie.
gonna give them both A. I don't feel comfortable putting Winter Soldier in B.
Yeah, they're both really good.
I agree.
Just
I'm fine with
because
that.
one of them might be a higher A, they're still A. Also,
Yeah.
just so you know, in the first week of filming, he messed up his arm. It was a fake helicopter, but it was drifting beyond the ability of his control. He tweaked his bicep, and to this day, it's still messed up.
The fuck did he have like
Nintendo Switch Joy-Con drift.
The guy piloting just really hated him.
He just started like taking off for real. Tear him in half.
Please stop flying. He's actually just screaming. That's how you get the best reactions.
Civil War did have a really fucking hype conclusion, to be fair.
That
Yeah.
entire movie was really
It set up like the rest of the arcs really, and
Yeah.
like the stakes there were really cool with Iron Man and Captain America not being friends anymore. That was cool. It was great.
Cool. It was very good. The original Captain America, I also think is super good.
Oh, that movie slapped.
I think B tier for that.
Yeah, I think
Yep.
it's
Not
an-
as good as the other two, but amazing.
I think it's just because Red Skull isn't super cool. I don't think he was like a really cool villain overall, but I think Captain America was really cool in the movie.
Yeah,
His
that
origin story is
movie,
great.
after seeing the rest, is definitely B tier, but when it first came out, oh, that movie was so good.
It was, yeah. My dad even really liked that movie. I haven't seen a movie in theaters with my parents in so long. I think the last one I remember seeing was probably Captain America with them, and my dad was like, "Those Nazis are some evil bastards, huh, Charlie?" It's like, yeah, it's.
I can see your dad saying exactly that too.
It was like, yeah, Dad. I mean, they're Nazis. They're not super cool, I guess.
Your dad called me yesterday to literally just to ask me how I was feeling. It was the nicest thing anybody's
Aw.
ever done for me.
Yeah, your dad's a sweetheart.
I
Yeah.
love him.
He's
He's
great.
been trying to help me with my house being built. He's sending encouraging emails and text messages. It's the
That's so
sweetest thing.
Well, both of your parents are amazing.
All right, we need to
Yeah.
add an extra tier in here for like a picture of my dad.
Yes.
Yeah.
In each tier list we do, he gets S tier.
Yeah.
But we need to do your mom too. We can't just have your dad.
True. The whole parents.
Right.
Doctor Strange.
I really like Doctor
I
Strange.
loved Doctor Strange.
The visuals were so good in Doctor Strange.
Yep.
Like some of the most incredible visuals. I'm fine with A.
Anything that Doctor Strange is in immediately gets elevated, I think, because it's just so fucking cool, and to
Yep.
like constantly change everything, where like the perspectives and everything get kind of all fucking warped and wacky. The multiverse gets introduced. I think it's so important and really fun.
And honestly, Marvel almost always hits the nail on the head with their actors, but
Yeah.
Benedict Cumberbatch was just fucking amazing.
Yeah. I just don't think it's good enough to be Stan Lee tier. I think Stan Lee
agree.
tier is just a little too high for Doctor Strange to reach yet.
Yeah.
Especially with Infinity War in there.
Yeah. Great movie though. I fucking love Doctor Strange.
Yeah. So good.
Is this in game?
Yeah, you know it is.
Okay. Bang. How do we feel about C tier?
Too low for me.
You
I
think?
was leaning more B tier for Endgame.
I was leaning B as well.
I just feel like in-game isn't that good. Like everything in the movie is just everything going right all the time and slowly. Like I don't know, I didn't like it nearly as much as Infinity War. And Thanos to me didn't feel like as scary in in-game as he was set up to be in Infinity War. They just kind of steamrolled him.
I agree with that. I just think that maybe the whole last half of the movie elevates it to B tier. I just
Yeah, the
think
last
that-
half.
The last half is great, yeah, but I mean, you spend half of the movie just kind of slowly going through the past where everything's going right.
True.
Like it doesn't feel like there's any stakes. It's like, oh, this is good.
There
good
is
again.
a lot of
very good.
fluff in the first half.
Were you at all during the movie bored or like taken out of it?
No, I wouldn't say I was.
I
ever
wasn't.
bored.
The entire movie, I was like pretty entertained.
Yeah,
I
like,
was
I
having a good time.
remember Monique was gone for a night. I ordered some Chinese food, watched it on my couch, loved it. But
I mean, I'm fine. I'm fine to concede.
got
it.
it. Does that sound like a C tier to you? Did you see how happy Matt was on his couch?
Yeah, think about it. It reminds me of the time Monique wasn't home.
Yeah.
B is definitely where I would feel.
I mean, I'll concede B. It's a fine movie. I just really don't think it did justice to what Infinity War was setting up. It's
That
just
is
yeah.
fair.
That's why it's not in Stan Lee, though.
Right.
true.
I'm interested
Makes it a bit
where
true.
everybody stands on this next one. You know what? Wait, I'll get out ahead of it.
Mhm.
I love Guardians of the Galaxy, and I feel like you guys don't like it.
What a brave opinion. Yeah, I love it too. What?
Oh,
Doesn't
okay.
everyone love it?
Let's not get carried away.
Whoa, wait,
We can get back on that topic with Volume 2.
Okay. I thought you guys were gonna shit on it and say the humor was bad. I thought the movie
No.
was amazing.
First Guardians
Oh,
of the
I thought it
Galaxy
was
is great. I
Alright,
think the
yeah,
first
cool.
one's fantastic. I don't know if I'd give it like I'd probably give it B, but I still think it's good.
I would say.
It's an A for me, dog. There's an old meme
Oh,
for you
God.
by accident.
Randy Jackson, nice.
Yeah, I didn't even mean to do that. It just came out.
At least you weren't his other co-host,
Paula Dean or
Yeah,
Paula Abdul.
Can you imagine if Paula Dean hosted American Idol?
That'd be pretty fucking lit.
Oh, although really, you don't want to be either of them. There's something about the name Paula.
Yeah,
Yeah, aren't
true.
they both like awful people?
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't know. It's in between A and B for me.
Would you really give Guardians of the Galaxy up there with Doctor Strange, Winter Soldier, and Civil War? Because I super wouldn't.
Yeah, okay.
Who- like,
fair. Alright, B.
for example, pop quiz: who was the villain in Guardians of the Galaxy? Tell me his name.
It was they were each other's enemies, right? And then they all have a dance off at the end.
Yeah, but who did he have the dance off with? Don't look at chat.
I'm not looking at chat. I don't know his name.
Exactly.
I really thought you would have known this, Jackson.
Why?
It's
Is
Ronan.
his name Jackson?
No, his name's Ronan. I don't know. I feel like you would have known that one.
He's just super forgettable. Like I don't think they had like a real big bad.
He's baby Thanos, like
Yeah.
bitch Thanos.
He's
essentially.
just a little pussy boy Thanos. I just feel like the characters are cool, the journey's cool, but it doesn't have like this really like impactful payoff to me. Like it's just fun. I wouldn't give it
So
any.
without looking at chat though, who was the main antagonist in Doctor Strange?
Ooh. Fuck. Yeah, Dormammu. I couldn't remember it. Dormammu, I've come to bargain. There we go. I remember now.
Did you remember it because of chat?
No,
Or-
I remembered because I come to bargain and I couldn't remember who he said it to.
I would put Dormammu and Ronan on very similar levels.
Yeah, but Dormammu is much cooler than Ronan. He's like the giant galaxy-eating dark guy. Whereas Ronan's just a guy with a fucking sledgehammer.
I like I said, I'm
No,
fine with it.
wait,
I don't think it's
wait,
the same
wait.
level of
Wasn't
Civil War.
Dormammu just at the very end up in the space? Wasn't he fighting? He was fighting the guy with the black eyes. Like the.
Dormammu was the big puppet master, though. He was the big bad.
Right, but isn't that the same like Ronan? Ronan wasn't really the
Yeah,
big
it was
bad
Thanos.
for the Guardians either. It's Thanos.
He's got a point.
I guess you are making a good point.
What
Aha!
was the other guy's name?
I'm looking it up. Caecilius. I mean, he looks cool.
That was a very good point because they are pretty similar.
I still don't think I would put Guardians of the Galaxy on the same level as Civil War and Winter Soldier personally.
I'm good with
maybe-
wherever you put it.
But maybe that means we need to drop Doctor Strange down to B.
Whoa.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Since it's kind of similar, then that's
That
fine.
one has come to?
That's fine. Jackson made a good point. That was some facts and logic right there.
Thank you. That'll be going in my montage.
Wait, but Matt made all the points to move Guardians to A, and then somehow Doctor Strange moved to B. How did this happen? Everybody
Stay in your
goes,
lane,
great
Matt."
point, Matt, great point. And then Jackson goes, all right, B.
Yeah, he was following your momentum, Matt.
Yeah, that's fair. Good work, Jackson. We
Yeah.
worked as a team and failed successfully.
That was good.
I got what I wanted.
Yeah, true.
So do we all agree that Volume 2 was not very good for Guardians of the Galaxy, though?
I don't remember anything about it.
I
so-
remember that one with they went to like the mining planet. I don't remember much about
It has Kurt Russell. He's a god. He literally is a god, and he
yeah,
surfs
I saw
around.
literal god.
So with this one, the only thing I remember is the main antagonist, which was Ego, right?
Yep, you go.
Yep.
Yeah. So
But it's like, and then
I guess by that logic, this one's an A tier. Put him up in A tier because we can remember the antagonist's name.
Yep.
and then Star Lord becomes a god as well. So he's like firing fucking light beams and flying around and shit.
Yeah, that one was not nearly on the level of number one. I didn't dislike the movie, but definitely not the same as number one.
Would you put it closer to number one or further away? So C or D here.
I haven't seen Captain Marvel, so I'm not sure. I personally enjoyed it more than Age of Ultron. I still thought it was a fun movie.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I think C.
Okay, I'm fine with C.
Just Matt gotta win.
There you go, Matt.
Yeah,
For you, man. You needed that
strong.
one.
Yeah, that was a
Yeah.
momentum shifter right there.
Yeah, I'm feeling really good. This is all a game of momentum. That's all tier lists are.
Oh, Far From Home?
Mhm.
Easy A tier with
I
Jake
think
Gyllenhaal.
Jake Gyllenhaal's such a suave man.
Eh,
You know he
every
doesn't shower?
character- What?
He doesn't shower.
In the movie?
No, like
No, in real
in
life.
general, he doesn't shower.
Oh.
He doesn't believe in
Oh.
it.
That's why he's so handsome.
Yeah, it's that dirty scent emanating from him that makes him look so good. I'm all for it. Whatever he's doing it right. So if he says don't shower, I guess I'm not showering anymore. Easy A's here though. Even disregarding Jake Gyllenhaal and all the other charismatic characters, just the movie's a fun time. It's good.
I love the ending. I think the ending is so fucking cool.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, I think it's better than the first Spider-Man
For
in
sure.
in this Marvel history. Yeah, easy A tier for me.
I agree with that. I think Hulk, everyone here will agree, is F, our first F.
Which
Or
one
did
is that?
The Incredible
Yeah, yeah.
Hulk.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember that movie at all?
Yeah, because I've watched it multiple times for some reason.
What? Why?
Because like it's always the first movie in like a Marvel binge because it's the first movie that was released.
So you just go back to it. I haven't
Yeah.
seen it since probably like 2012. No, probably even earlier. Back when Iron Man first started launching this shit, I was so big into the Marvel movies. I watched it again then, and it was still just as bad as I remembered it being.
The only good part of the original Hulk is that that scene where Tim Roth gets kicked into a tree. That's my favorite scene in probably the entire Marvel history.
Why?
'Cause he's kicked it. I'm laughing just thinking about it. He gets kicked, like he runs up to Hulk and is all angry, and then the Hulk just kicks him and he goes flying across the football field directly into a tree. Face first into a tree. Have you not seen it? It's so good.
I vaguely remember what you're talking about. That scene didn't really jump out at me, though.
How do he gets...
Thanks, Reese. I'm
I don't know, it's the
tapping.
arrogance of him. He comes storming up to the Hulk, and the
Very
Hulk's just like...
similar to the Loki Hulk scene.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, actually, you're right, it is.
Here,
But I just
in case
I
you
love-
want to watch it.
I
Yeah,
love
I
his
just found
face
it.
just hitting the tree. It's great.
Oh, don't watch that one. This one's much better.
I can't show it on stream because it'll just get this
Oh,
whole
that's
video
right.
taken
Just don't
down.
even watch it.
I'm just.
It's
Am I not allowed to edit it into the video?
I don't think so. On the last one we did, where we showed some of the Troy movie, it kind of got slapped.
You say some of the Troy movie, but we watched like 17 minutes of it.
movie.
It was such a good movie.
I went back and rewatched it. See, look at the CGI.
Yeah. Yeah.
So good. His ragdoll body gets flung across the field.
Well, that makes me want to
So,
put it up to a D, to be honest.
Yeah, honestly, that's one of my favorite moments of the Marvel cinematography. Is it really like less bad than Ant-Man and the Wasp though? You really hate that movie.
You haven't seen it. It's really dumb. I think the movie's really like unbearably dumb. Spoiler alert: there's gonna be one more James Corden Marvel movie I can think of off the top of my head, which is Thor: Dark World. I think they're on equal footing. I think they're both equally shit.
Alright, well, Hulk has to go on F tier then, just to fill up
Yeah.
F tier, I think.
Yeah, we need something in
The only reason I wanted to bring it up to D is because that kick is pretty cool. I see what you're
I
talking
told
about.
you. I told you, man. If the movie was just all of that scene, easy D
Thanks for some
tier.
golden-
But no, F tier.
Which one's this down here? Is this Iron Man 2 or 3? It's 2.
Wait,
Right here. Iron Man
yeah,
2.
it's two.
I give it like a C. It was okay.
It was a fine movie.
It was alright.
It's the one with the whips, right?
Yeah,
The
Mickey
guy-
Yeah.
Rourke and the whips.
I would honestly say
Armie
the
Hammer.
most forgettable Iron Man.
No,
Yeah.
Iron Man 3 is the most forgettable Iron Man. And it doesn't do anything. Like he deletes all of his suits only to make all of his suits again. I think Iron Man 3 is the
Yeah.
worst one. And then
Wait, I said the most forgettable one, and I can't remember 3.
yeah, no, number 3 I think is an unbearable piece of trash.
I'm watching the trailer now because I legitimately don't remember 3.
It was
It's
the one with the Mandarin.
yeah, it's the one where the people were blowing up. Like the people were like overheating like a graphics
Oh,
card.
and they like blew up his house, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The 3's a really contentious one because some people fucking love 3. Like look at the chat. 3 is the best one. And I think that movie is absolute irredeemable garbage.
I don't know about garbage, but I think
It's
the worst
bad.
Iron Man one.
I just think it's really bad.
No,
you didn't like
remind me,
Oh,
is
after
Iron
the
Man
child?
3 where doesn't like Gwyneth Paltrow save the day or something?
Kind of at the very end. You'll remember the last scene. He like presses something on his wrist and he's like, no more suits. So the suits he's done with the suits.
And
But
aren't
then-
they in the shipping container?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Gotcha. Okay, that's coming back now.
Yeah.
Tony Stark also gets nursed back to health by a 6-year-old boy.
Well,
Well, what's not to love about that?
yeah, that's a weird thing you just said there. I don't remember that at all.
Wait, you don't remember
Oh,
what?
in the farm. He's in the
Yeah,
barn,
what?
right? Yeah.
What? What are you talking about? Oh, is that the one where his like dad? He's talking about his dad with the cigarettes and shit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I remember it
I
made such a
remember that.
big scene because they brought that kid back in for Tony Stark's funeral later on
I
for some
remember
reason.
that. Yeah, movie's trash. I think it's definitely the worst Iron Man. 2's not great either, but I think 2's still better than 3. I think
Yeah.
2's also got Army Hammer, who's a nice goofball. Or that's his name, right? Army Hammer.
Yeah, something Arnie, something Hammer.
Yeah, I think he's at least fun. I think 3's the worst Iron Man, but I don't think it's as bad as Hulk or Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Mm,
Iron Man 1, easy Stanley.
Yeah, that movie's phenomenal.
Literally launched the entire MCU.
Yep, the entire thing.
I thought I heard you like suffocate or something over there, Jackson.
I don't know about Stan Lee. I was thinking
Whoa.
A.
Really? You wouldn't give
Hey.
Iron Man Stan Lee tier?
No, I don't think so. I think I'd give it A.
Wow.
I don't think. I mean, all right. First of all, Iron Man didn't start this. The Incredible Hulk did, and look where that is.
Don't you ever fucking say that again.
But it's true. It did start it.
No,
it
it didn't.
might not have started.
Not
it well,
everything that
but it
comes
started
first starts something, okay?
it. It does.
It took
And
him a
it
few
did.
tries to get off the ground.
I don't think it's Stan Lee tier, but I'll accept it. I'll accept it.
I think it has to be.
I think you're looking at it from a sentimental value, though. I think
It's still a good movie. I watched it a couple years ago. It's still a good movie.
I don't like any movie where like the main character fights themselves at the end, like it's a clone of them basically, like they're fighting their own hubris or their own demons, and I think that's what's the main guy's at the end's name, the main antagonist?
The bald guy? I don't remember his name though.
Yeah, wasn't it? Fuck, it wasn't War Machine, was it?
No,
It wasn't
War
called
Machine's Rhodes.
Warmonger. That's it.
Warmonger. Yeah.
So it was basically just another Iron Man suit. So he's fighting himself basically.
Oh,
and
it's
just pretty boring.
Ironmonger.
Yeah, it's just boring to me. It's just a trope that's been done to death, I feel like. So
Well,
that's
it's been done to death after they did it.
True.
I don't even think that's the case. I think it was done to death before that.
It
Who
probably
did it?
has been since like the 19th
I
century.
I think it's just a pretty
the prime
tired
limit.
cliche. But if you want to do Stanley, I'm not gonna admonish you. I think it's an
I'm
A.
following you up on Stan Lee tier personally.
Yeah, I think it has to be Stan Lee tier. Black
You should-
Panther.
I
Hey.
like Black Panther a lot.
Oh, I want to say B. for
I'm
me.
thinking, yeah, it's between B and C for me as well.
I was between A and B, so I'd say B.
I'll go B.
Yeah, B. I think B's fair. I think it's a good movie.
I was watching something about their stunt work. Their stunt work for that movie was pretty fucking nuts. Like those car scenes and shit, they actually did those things. It wasn't all CGI.
I don't remember. I remember some of the action at the start was all in dark, like dark scenes and stuff, and it kind of took it away from me. Like I didn't really love the action until like maybe the second half, and then also the final action scenes were pretty lame because they had like these CGI rhinos and stuff. I think was that Black Panther.
I think that was in Infinity War where they had like all the animals outfitted.
Oh, maybe that was Infinity War. Never mind. Anyway, it's still a B for me.
I mean, it might have been in that one too. I just don't recall.
Yeah, I just remember I think there was bad CGI in Black Panther, but I could be wrong.
That's what all of chat's saying too.
Okay.
Okay, they're saying you're right, Jackson.
Well, B tier for me, regardless. I'm pretty.
B it
Happy to
is.
I'm down. Spider-Man: Homecoming. I was thinking B tier.
Yeah, that's gonna be another B tier for me. It's good. It's like the same level of good as Far From Home, just without Jake Gyllenhaal. So
It's a little
Oh my
worse than
God.
Far From Home, I think. It's Tom
Well,
Holland's still
because there's
figuring
no
it out.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
No. They have an equally charismatic, likable guy. The Vulture's played by
oh yeah,
what the fuck is his name?
Michael. Is it Michael? Not Michael.
No, what the
Caine.
fuck
What's
is his name? I don't know. It's like Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Michael Keaton. I think he's cool.
Yeah, he's fun. He's a fun villain.
Yeah, I think
And
he's
he-
fine.
It was kind of like added a real life element to it too as well. Like you see the aftermath of the first Avengers movie with like New York being destroyed and what kind of ramifications that has for people that live there. Like he was the villain because his job was taken away from him because of that shit. So it was pretty fun.
Yeah, it's a pretty sympathetic villain, I'd say.
Michael
Agreed.
Keaton was Batman.
Oh, true.
Thanks, Matt.
Do you guys remember the first Thor movie? I know where I want to put this, but I'm curious where you guys think it should go.
D tier for me.
Yeah, Matt, what about you? What do you think?
Really? It might just be rose tinted glasses for me. I thought it would be better than a D.
It's pretty bad.
It's not good. Yeah, it's so I don't know if you remember, but like the main thing that Thor fights is like that goofy fucking robot thing. It's really underwhelming. I don't think there's a
Robot. I don't even remember that. Or one
like at
villain.
the you remember at the end he fights that like big like robot that shoots the beams.
Oh yeah, actually kind of looks like Ronan from Guardians of the Galaxy, but massive.
Yeah, I
Shoots
guess.
like the giant. They're in the diner, right? And they go and fight it out in the street.
Yeah, Natalie
It's just
Portman was
so
the best part
boring.
of Thor. Yeah.
But even their romance was so boring. Like there was no chemistry.
Don't you ever fucking say that about Natalie Portman? Now you're just
But I'm
you're getting carried
I'm
away.
not insulting her. She's
Yes, you
fine.
did. Yes, you did. Jesus fucking.
When
But I
people are
said the
saying
romance.
that what I'm saying is Dark World.
That is the one you're talking about?
Yeah.
The robot wasn't in
apparently-
Dark World. What?
Yeah, wait, what? Wasn't the Dark World like goblins from a different dimension or something?
Yeah, here, look. I even have the fight scene pulled up. It's like that spiky robot guy.
All right, so we are right.
Yeah, that's the end of Thor 1. I'm looking at
And
it right
somebody
now.
said Dark World was the elves idiots, so I trust that guy.
Well, yeah, no.
Yeah.
Dark World is it's another James Corden entry.
It is. Oh man, it's so bad. Yeah, but it was the elves. You're right. The goblin-y elves.
Yeah, the little hunchback dude, pointy ears. Yeah, I would personally go C for Thor 1, but like I said, that's pretty much just pure nostalgia for me. I can remember nothing about the movie clearly.
They have the
Yeah.
Thor's hammer in like the crash site. Natalie Portman's one of the scientists
Oh
there,
yeah,
and
all
then he
the
comes in.
scientists and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, I can agree.
It's a
with
pretty fucking boring movie.
It does
so
not stand
boring.
up to Marvel movies at all.
It's just not fun to watch.
No, it's a really fucking boring movie. And I don't know why people. There's one guy in chat that is really saying, Charlie, that robot fight is in the middle. I have it pulled up right now. The Thor ending fight is Thor against this goofy spike robot. It's very underwhelming. And Thor Dark World is a James Corden all day.
Yeah,
I'm
I
in
don't see
agreement.
anyone- I don't. Yeah, I don't disagree. I don't
Good.
know. Is it worse than Ant-Man and the Wasp?
I think it's on equal footing. I wouldn't necessarily say one is worse than the other. They're equally dog shit.
Well, now I have something to gauge it to, and I agree though. I think it's a James Corden easy.
The best
Now,
thing
on the
about
other
every
hand-
Thor movie is always Heimdall.
Yeah, kind of. I guess.
I love him.
Loki is the final
On the other
fight.
hand, though, maybe the biggest
Well, then this title
what
was
do you call it,
wrong.
like surprise
Is it tier 1
is
Noonie?
Thor Ragnarok. That's gonna be like a Stan Lee for me.
It's
fucking
probably
love that
it's
movie.
probably one of my favorite movies from the
I
MCU.
thought they killed it. I was so nervous with that movie. I thought they were trying to, like, before I saw it, I thought they were trying too hard to copy the formula from Guardians of the Galaxy after it went so well. And then they just did it really well.
Yeah,
It's just
Taika
so much
Waititi really
character
fucking
around it.
saved Thor.
Yeah, that movie was great.
It was so fucking good.
Look at that list though. Thor is a character of extremes. You have him up in Stanley, and you have him down in James Corden.
Yeah.
He's like the yin yang. He's two sides of the same coin.
Dude, it was
He-
so good. Fucking
He
Jeff
saw the bottom
Goldblum.
and bounced back.
Oh. Taika Waititi is such a good director, man.
Yeah, that
I
movie-
didn't. So I love him. I love him as as a director, but I really didn't like him in Free Guy.
He was way too over the top in Free Guy. I think he just went a little too hard there and kind of missed the mark. But as a director, I think he hasn't missed yet.
Thor
I
Ragnarok
agree.
might be the last movie I saw in theaters.
Jesus Christ,
in terms
what?
of any movie.
Any movie.
It was that good? You just said no more.
Yeah, I said how nothing is going to top this. No, I don't go to theaters very often.
True.
Wait, we went and saw 1917 together.
No, we didn't. Shut the fuck up. Yeah, you're right.
Now you just made him look dumb.
All right.
Sliding you like that.
1917 is the last movie I saw in theaters.
That was a good movie too.
That was a great movie. Let's put that on this here.
Stanley.
Yeah.
I did like his cameo in that.
He was one
Just
of the pilots.
slowly being a janitor through the foxholes during the war.
I think Avengers goes A tier for me. I don't think it's as good as Infinity War, but it is still very good, and it was
Is that
very.
just base Avengers?
Yeah, it's just base Avengers.
Yep. That's a good movie. I'd say A as well.
Yeah, it's just
I think A.
it's just not as good as Infinity War, so that's what keeps it out of Stan Lee. But it was like the culmination of so many years of work and the first of its kind. It was also just a really enjoyable movie.
Yeah, really. Set the stage for the rest of Marvel.
That was one of the first times I can recall people just talking about movies super frequently, because so many
True.
people in the real world were talking about the Avengers.
Everybody was talking about the Avengers.
It was a new
Honestly,
thing, right?
Yep.
Similar to how they did with Iron Man 1, I'd say, except on a bigger level.
Except, like
Like
Charlie
the
said, this
use
is
of
the
Eddie and
culmination of
Pokemaster.
movies like Iron Man. It took it to the next level.
Exactly.
Yeah. And they give you the 10
Yeah,
years of
I think
Silent
it's
Sniper.
impressive what they
Thank
were
you,
able to
Sniper.
accomplish, especially when there was no template beforehand to, judge it off
Right.
or base it off. They really had to lay the foundation themselves. Pretty impressive.
Have you guys watched it recently?
Yeah,
A couple of years ago.
I haven't watched it in a long time. I should go back.
I
Go
will
back and
say,
see.
I did watch it fairly recently, and like within the last year. And I would say that it is less good than I remember, but I think that's more of a testament to like how good the
How good the new ones are.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
That was a good movie for its time.
Yeah.
What's this next one? I can't see the bottom.
WandaVision.
Oh, I haven't actually watched that yet.
This is D tier for me.
I was gonna go D tier because it really fucking falters towards the end. Did you like the ending, Jackson? Like the last couple of episodes?
Don't spoil it?
Oh, are you
Yeah,
gonna
no.
watch it?
No, you fucking spoil it. I'll never watch it.
Well, I don't know about chat then. If you're kind of in that boat.
I think it's pretty recent. It came out like this year, right?
No, I think it was late last year, wasn't it?
I can't remember. I watched it this
Yeah,
year
let's
though.
see.
Hmm.
WandaVision.
And honestly, like super forgettable to me.
It was this year.
Oh, I'll pull it out of D tier. The first 3 or 4 episodes I did like, and I liked the direction they were going, and then the last 2 episodes they completely fucking jumped the shark, and I think they ruin it. I think they completely ruin everything they did.
I don't remember the ending, to be honest. I don't remember much about it. Just that, like you said, the first like few episodes were pretty unique and well done and interesting. But I think most of it is forgettable. I'd be fine with D tier. I just don't think it's on the same level of like
Yeah.
Thor.
That's fair. I don't think it'd be on the same level as those there either. I'm fine with putting it in C.
Is it next one Loki?
Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Have either of you guys seen this?
I have not.
This was so fucking boring. I watched the first 2
Really?
episodes. I couldn't finish it. It was so boring. It was so incredibly
Really?
boring. Yeah, I couldn't finish it. That's why we
Wow.
didn't voice meter it.
These are the characters that are going to be continuing on the mantle of Captain America, right?
Yeah, it was just so boring. I couldn't stand it.
Yikes.
Well, that's not good.
Where
I
are
don't
you
know if
putting
I'd give it an F though. F's a little too harsh. It's worse than WandaVision, so I'll give it a D.
it? Okay, that's fair.
It was too boring to finish. I'm sure maybe towards the end they might have found their footing, but I wasn't ready to invest another fucking 2.5 hours or whatever it would have taken to keep watching. It was so boring.
Oh, it's a show, not a movie.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
show.
these are
Gotcha.
shows.
Okay, I was gonna say that would be a weird one to make a movie out of, since no Chris Evans.
Yeah. Well,
Oh yeah, well, there's going to be no Chris Evans anymore anyway.
No,
yeah,
I know. it
This
just-
is setting this up for like who's taking over.
right. Just giving them their own standalone movie would have felt like a waste of money.
Hmm.
This
This one's Loki.
I've not watched that either, but I really want.
You
to.
should absolutely. This one fucking bang,
I've
Jackson.
only heard good things.
I have not watched it.
What the fuck? Jesus Christ. All right, Loki's fucking great. I wouldn't give it Stan Lee, but I think Loki is super fun. And Owen Wilson is in it. Owen Wilson is so likable.
Put it in Stanley.
No, I can't do that.
You love Owen Wilson?
I love Owen Wilson.
Owen Wilson's amazing.
Stan Lee.
He's like a little puppy dog.
I know.
do
Stan
love
Lee
that.
would have loved Owen Wilson too, I bet.
I bet you he did. I bet you part of Stan Lee lives on.
You know what? I'm gonna go the opposite direction. I think Stanley prohibited Owen Wilson from being in any Marvel movies,
Oh,
and that's why he was only able to be in a Marvel movie after he died.
Yeah, Owen Wilson was actually supposed to be Iron Man. Little known fact.
Oh, could you imagine?
He wakes up in the cave in Iron Man 1. Wow.
Wow. It's so good. It's hard to talk about without spoiling anything, but it is a really interesting movie, and
Oh,
it
fuck
sets.
that. What's the best part?
No! I've been
Yes.
looking for a new show to watch, and I forgot about Loki, so I should actually watch that.
No,
Yeah,
you're not
it's
allowed
good.
to watch Loki. You're going to be watching Captain America and the Winter Soldier first.
All right, here, I'll deafen myself if you want to spoil it.
No, I'm not going to spoil it. A lot of people in chat probably haven't seen it either.
Somebody said Owen Wilson as Thor would be a dream, but you know what actually would be amazing is Owen Wilson as the Hulk.
Oh,
Hulked out Owen Wilson. Oh,
fuck yeah!
him doing the line, "I'm like that's my secret. I'm always angry." Oh,
Counterpoint: Owen Wilson as Black Widow. Pretty hot.
his long golden locks. You see him from the back in the latex suit. You don't know it's him until he turns around in slow motion.
Ooh, that would be fucking intense.
Oh, that would be such a good movie.
Yeah, that'd be hot.
I'm
I
just
can't believe we don't direct
Isn't it-
Marvel.
true.
There's no Black Widow anymore, right? She's gone.
Yeah, she's gone.
No, how sad.
Well.
Shang-Chi, where do we want this one? Have you guys seen it?
I haven't seen
yeah,
it. I've
fre-
heard great
fresh-
things.
Fresh off the boat, that's going an A for me.
That's what I like to hear. The martial arts was so fucking good, wasn't it?
The first half of the movie was just so good.
It was so fucking good.
Do you have any issues with the movie? Because I do. And
Yep.
let me just take the mic for a second. Why didn't they just let the martial arts go for the entire movie?
That's what I fucking said. That is what I said. That was my biggest complaint. They set up the entire first half of the movie fucking perfectly. The martial arts was the focal point. It was so good, and they mixed in like the 10 Rings magic and stuff, which was still cool. But it was with like in conjunction with martial arts.
I love the main actor, Simu Liu. He was the main actor, or one of the actors of one of my favorite shows on Netflix, Kim's Convenience. It's like a goofy little show. And
Never
I don't
heard
know
of
if
it.
you saw, he actually tweeted at Marvel saying, or Disney saying they should make this movie with him as the lead actor, and they did.
That's actually fucking great.
Yeah, he's a super cool guy.
I saw him on Instagram. He made a post laughing at all of the YouTubers that said his movie was gonna fucking flop and that he sucks. So
Yep.
he made a caption that just screenshotted all those and said "lol," and people lost their mind.
That's amazing. I like
Yeah.
him a lot. He's such a.
I'm actually
such a cool
I'm putting it back in A tier because of that. I really like that Instagram
Yeah.
post.
He's charismatic for sure.
Oh yeah, and he was a stock photo model, so people keep finding those photos of him from way back when.
The the first half of that movie I think is absolute golden Marvel Cinematic Universe shit. It's so good.
I agree.
I'm
Black-
excited to see it.
Black Widow, I'm thinking F. I don't think it's James Corden level, but it's real stinky.
I only heard bad things.
Have you seen it, Jackson?
Not seen it.
It's very bad. Okay, it's fucking trash. This one I feel confident saying a little bit more about. The main bad guy at the end, his superpower is smell. He's stinky. So, like, if you smell him, you're in trouble. And I think that is so incredibly goofy. I think it is so stupid. And since Black Widow as a character is already out of the MCU, from like the previous movies, we already know that. It just seems like a worthless movie that came at the worst time.
Huh. Wait, didn't I remember being shocked after you saw the movie? You said it wasn't terrible.
No, I never said it wasn't terrible. I mean, as a movie, it's not terrible. But for the Marvel movies, it's not good. It's
Gotcha.
definitely
I
one of the
see.
weakest.
I just was so shocked that you didn't.
No, like
completely tear into it
it's
at
a,
first.
as a movie, I mean, it works. Like it's a
Gotcha.
fine movie, but we're looking at these movies in relation to the other Marvel movies.
Yeah, no.
So you're the two movies that you hate the most are just because the main antagonist vibrates too much or smells.
Or smells.
No, that's not why I hate Ant-Man and the Wasp that much. It's just a really bad movie overall. Like, it's not good. The action's bad when there is action. They don't even really use the growing and shrinking very much in the movie until the end. It's just a really uneventful movie that has a really unsatisfying conclusion where the villain and the heroes are on the same side the entire time. So why are they even at odds? They could just work together, which they eventually do at the end anyway. It's just a dumb movie. It's a really fucking dumb movie.
Is the antagonist
Thank
the
you, Tier 1
same
Carrot.
guy from Stranger Things?
In what, Ant-Man and the Wasp?
No. So the antagonist in Black Widow, I think I remember seeing that the Stranger Things cop is in it. Is it him? Is he the
No,
antagonist?
no. He's one of the helpers. He's a good guy. He's Captain Russia. He's a big Russia guy.
Okay.
Forgot what his name is. It's like the Red Star or something. Red Shining Galaxy Star Man. He's fine. David Arbor. I think he's fine. Like, he doesn't really do anything. The only character that really does anything is Scarlett Johansson and her friend, her sister. Other than that, no one really does much.
Yep, fair. I'm fine with F.
Yeah,
I mean, I haven't seen it, so.
it's
I
bad.
didn't see it, so I'm with you. I agree.
Compared to all the other ones, it's pretty bad. And then I haven't seen What If. I'm assuming none of you have either.
When did that come out?
Brand new.
It's still ongoing, I think, isn't it?
Oh, is that the animated one?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I'm just gonna put it at C because we have no opinion on it, and
Yeah.
there's not like a tier for ones we haven't
Just
seen.
throw it in C.
Mm. Is it still ongoing? Is it unfinished?
Yeah, it's only like 3 weeks in, I think.
Oh, it's a full show.
Yeah, it's a show.
Can they stop that? Except for Loki?
The shows are good, man. Like, well, granted, I didn't like Winter Soldier
I
at
know
all.
3 is.
Yeah, and I liked WandaVision for the first 4 episodes. Like, I think Marvel shows have a very bright future. I'm no award-winning power lifter, but I still performed an incredible feat of strength today. I watched 3 episodes of She-Hulk. I know. Get your oohs and ahs out of the way. I'm like a circus freak here. How can Charlie do that? You know, what, is he a superhuman? Are you kidding me? 3 episodes of She-Hulk in one sitting? That's right, and I only dozed off once. I'm not lying, this isn't clickbait. I really did watch every episode back to back to back. Call me a hero, call me a villain, call me crazy. But I pulled it off. I did. I must have some kind of unique mutation in my own body that enables me to do these kind of things. It's kind of like in the show where Hulk mentions their bodies metabolize alcohol at a much faster rate than normal people. I have that power, but with not good TV shows. I'm sure you've all heard by now, but Marvel's released yet another TV show. It's She-Hulk. And it hasn't been doing that well. In fact, it's been doing pretty awful. Most people on YouTube and Twitter are insulting it and making fun of it. It's really catching more shit than a porta potty toilet seat in a construction site. If you only looked at YouTube titles about this show, you'd probably believe that this show somehow gives you gamma radiation just from watching it. It has been getting absolutely fucking slammed and jammed. And I wanted to watch it to see if it really is as bad as everyone's saying. And I just want to make this video giving my opinions on it so far. I've been very upfront and honest. I don't like the Marvel TV shows. The only one that I've liked is Loki. All the other ones I find just a tedious chore to watch. It's just the same formula every fucking time. And it's not just the TV shows, the movies are now following the same formula, and I'm just tired of it. Every character is quippy and quirky and joking back and forth, and nothing interesting is really happening anymore. So I've just completely lost interest in it. But I did want to give this series a fair shake and form an opinion on it, and that's what I'm going to do here, just share my thoughts on it. So right away, the show's not the worst thing ever created, but it's not good. This is a very sub-mediocre show. The biggest crime this show commits is being boring. There is nothing interesting that's happening in this show whatsoever, nor is there even any hints of anything interesting around the corner. It is very much like a CW show, visually and in terms of its writing. The CGI in this just absolutely broke my heart. I could feel the carpal tunnel, the over-exhaustion from the workers that are forced to work on the CGI for yet another Marvel show. It is clear through their work that they are tired. They need a break, because they're not even fucking trying. Like, in the very first episode, a fucking spaceship, floats down, and it looks awful. It actually looks like an Adobe After Effects tutorial on YouTube. It is not good, and that level of CGI persists throughout the remaining 2 episodes. I really think they are just overworking their teams now, and they're just constantly, pumping shit out, and they can't keep the quality there. Because obviously, they're being stretched so thin. So that's an immediate complaint that I'd like to put out there, but let's talk about a lot of the big things people are focusing on Twitter. The first one was a very viral clip from episode 1 where Jin, She-Hulk, is talking to Bruce, and Bruce is talking about how she needs to control her emotions so that way she doesn't freak out and go Hulk form and kill people by accident like he's experienced, right? So she took great offense to that, saying something along the lines of, I'm great at controlling my emotions. When I get catcalled on the street, or when men try and critique me in my area of expertise, I'm always having to control my emotions and my anger, and I do it much better than you, Bruce. Which is just really fucked up to belittle Bruce. I don't know why she would say that, or why the writers would put that in there as like a slap to Bruce, a character with by far the most trauma in the MCU. Like, most recently, he just lost the love of his life, and he has the only canon suicide attempt in the MCU. Like, it's totally fine to highlight Jin's problems and things that she's experienced that make her upset and all of the legitimate issues she has. But why then make it like a competition of who has the most trauma and say, like, I control anger better than you, Bruce. I have it worse than you, Bruce. Like, that's so fucked up. It's downright disrespectful. So there's a reason why a lot of people were mad about that clip, and seeing it in the context of the show does nothing to make it better. It's still the same awful garbage. Now, the rest of the episode is just boring. It's not very interesting, and they set Jin up as a very unlikable protagonist. Her whole attitude is, I'm better than you in every single way, Bruce, and I'm just going to keep insulting you. That's all she really does for episode 1. Bruce is doing her best to try and help her, train her, and all she does is shit on him for it, and then constantly turn everything into a pissing contest. It's silly. Like, if you're trying to make people not like She-Hulk, they're doing an absolute amazing job. They're fucking crushing it. Like, this is a smashing display of how to make a protagonist people root against. My biggest complaint by far with this show is the writing. I really just can't stand it because it's very generic Marvel. Everything is superseded with a joke or some kind of quip constantly. Now, I get it. Comic book fans had a whole bunch of copium about this show, like, well, actually, She-Hulk in the comic books is very wacky and zany. She's always making jokes, so it makes sense that her show would be more comedic in tone. And that's fine. Like, that's great. I'm super happy to hear that. But I am so tired of it. Legitimately, the last thing Marvel needed was yet another comedy. Everything they make is a comedy. I don't think there's any lunatic out there that was just like, oh man, I really like Marvel movies and shows, but they're just a bit too serious. I wish they'd give us something a little goofier, you know, a little lighter. None of the characters left in the MCU have their own personalities anymore. They're all following the exact same formula. Every single character is a jokester. They're always fucking joking. And it's like not good jokes. It's just like the most obvious cookie cutter recycled garbage over and over again, just being refed constantly. Like, it's just so tiresome. I can't help but roll my eyes. Even the villains now are just kind of like an extension of the heroes in that they're always joking. Like, nothing is being taken seriously to even the slightest degree anymore, it feels like. Even the fucking Abomination, who's in this show, is just another clown. Like, he's just making jokes constantly. Talking about writing haikus as well as his 7 soulmates and this and that. Like, it's just too much. It's like going into a middle school classroom during a substitute teacher where every student's trying to make like the best joke all at once and they're all terrible. It's fucking... It's painful. And I get it, this show's supposed to be more comedic because it's certainly not focusing on any kind of like action or like a bigger world building so far. This is a very self-contained unit that has other elements from the MCU like Wong, Abomination, Bruce, but it's very much just like a sitcom with them. It's not like a law drama, so they're not focusing on any part of her being an attorney. Like, yes, it's here, but it's very rudimentary. It's not like anything super compelling. It's really mainly just following She-Hulk as she makes jokes with people around her and becomes a superstar. And now they've brought in like so many other super powered people. There's a tiny little side plot where one like chauvinistic asshole was dating a shape-shifting elf from Asgard who was disguising herself as Megan the Stallion, and now he's suing her for it, and you know, Jin's used in court to testify that that guy's a chauvinistic asshole who's so delusional he thought it could have been the real Megan the Stallion. It's all just so fucking dumb. And this is where another big viral Twitter clip comes in of people making fun of the show. At the end of that episode, that's episode 3, there's a post-credit scene where She-Hulk is twerking with Megan the Stallion. And yeah, you know what? It's pretty cringe, but it doesn't bother me. I don't care. It's a post-credit scene. Let them have fun. I don't know why people are making a big hoopla about it. Like that, I have no gripes with that whatsoever. You know, it's not something that had me giggling or getting hype, but I wasn't like upset by it. I wasn't mad about it. I mean, plenty of post-credit scenes in Marvel have been really fucking silly too, so I don't think there's anything super different about that. It's just the whole show itself isn't very good. To me, this whole show just feels soulless, just very robotic and by the numbers, as if they just took a random character from Marvel and plugged them into an MCU media algorithm and it pumped out this entire script in a day. All just written by AI, all just very formulaic. It feels like there's no passion behind it. It just feels like it was made because they need to keep making Marvel stuff to keep people subscribed to Disney Plus. So they just pump out as much as they can, as quickly as they can, for as many characters as they can to keep that train rolling. There's just nothing at all happening right now. At the end of episode 3, she does get into a bit of a fight, a little scuffle, which is the first fight of the show outside of episode 1. And it's against just 4 no-named nobody henchmen in an alley. And they're wielding crowbars and a mace. And like a needle. And there's little particle effects coming off of them. So she easily dispatches them by just doing this. It's kind of like a Detroit urban survival training course where Dale's telling you just like how to tackle 5 assailants all at once, where you just go in a circle and like slap their back. That's how she fights. You know, obviously she overpowers all of them. She's the fucking She-Hulk. But like they couldn't have at least made the fight a little more interesting. Like they'll hit her with the mace, she doesn't feel it, and then she just slaps to the side or throws to the side or throws up, and like that's it. It's just, the action's not fun to watch. There's no like drama, there's no stakes, there's nothing besides just jokes. And I just really think that's really run its course. It's not very entertaining. Maybe it'll get better in the next few episodes. I couldn't tell you, but I don't really see where it goes from here. They're trying to set something up because the bad guys at the end there say, you know, the boss isn't going to like this or whatever. So it's trying to maybe set something up, but it's just not interesting. Yeah, anyway, that's really like my full thoughts on the show so far. I'll probably finish it just to see where it goes, if it goes anywhere at all. But yeah, anyway, that's about it. See ya. This could be the most controversial video I've made since the time I debated bone-in versus boneless chicken wings, or I could be completely wrong here hitting the crack pipe and it might just be an extremely cold, stale take. I'm really not sure. Could go either way. I'm just super tired of superhero content. Marvel shows, Marvel DC movies, I just don't get excited for them anymore. Superhero fatigue, I think, is the term a lot of people use now, which I think is underselling it because it's not just being worn out from so much of it, it's being genuinely put off because so much of it's being shoved down your throat. It's more of a soreness from being face-fucked by superheroes for so long now. Marvel just unveiled like 6,000 new shows and movies on the horizon here, and I've been asked my opinion on each and every one of them. It's just exhausting, because it's like being asked to rate every individual noodle in a bowl of spaghetti. I'm gonna rate them all pretty much the same, because they all taste the same. Now I want to be clear before people get too upset and flipping over their chair in a fit of rage and anger. There's nothing wrong with liking superhero content. Nothing at all. In fact, I still do enjoy watching it in the moment, like I have fun watching them, but it's not like I get excited. But there's nothing wrong with being excited either. You can have a completely different opinion from me. It's just I feel like everything for superhero content is pretty much the same these days. And I think it's important I define exactly what I mean here. I'm talking entirely about Marvel and DC. I love The Boys and I loved Invincible, and those are both 2 superhero shows. But they're very different from the Marvel DC formula. Very, very, very far removed from those 2. To give you an example, every time Marvel or DC drops a new trailer for a show or movie, I'm always asked on stream to watch it and give my opinion on it, and I always draw the same conclusion, that it was a pretty generic trailer that followed the same formula that they've been using for the last decade. And to go even further, when I watched the Black Adam trailer on stream, I started to guess upcoming lines correctly, even though I had never seen the trailer before.
You can be the destroyer of this world,
Or the savior.
or you can be its savior.
What a guess.
The world needed a hero.
It got me.
Instead, it got
Oh,
me.
I'm nuts! I'm nuts! Let's go! God, this is so fucking generic. It doesn't take a galaxy brain intellect here to piece together what the next lines were going to be. This wasn't exactly like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 2 with, next you're going to say this, and it'd be really impressive. I think these were pretty predictable lines that most people could have seen coming, because all superhero movies basically have the same bones these days. They follow very similar structure. Every character, again, follows very similar patterns where they're always making jokes and quipping with one another, and these lines in the trailers are always very similar. I have a feeling they're all written by the same team. They just like outsource it to the superhero trailer department because they always pretty much play out the exact same. And again, there's nothing wrong with liking that either. I enjoy superhero movies as well. I have fun watching them. I leave happy. It feels good. And that's as far as it goes. There's nothing wrong with it being that level of entertainment, but it's getting to a point where I'm just really tired of seeing the same thing every time. So now I'm not really leaving happy. I'm leaving bored. Like with Thor, Love and Thunder. It's not a bad movie. Like, none of the superhero movies or shows are like actually shit, like dog shit. There's just so many of them now, and it's hard to care. It also just seems completely aimless. Like, there's no goal for these movies anymore. In the beginning, it always tied back into like the Avengers and Thanos and all of that, which was cool. It gave it an overarching purpose. But now they've introduced like a million fucking characters into the mega mix here. They threw like 20,000 ingredients into a stew, and it's just an overload that you can't appreciate, or at least I can't. Again, this is just about my personal opinion on it. I'm just pretty tired of seeing so much superhero shit, and I do watch all of it still. It's not like I'm boycotting or anything. I still do indulge and watch all of it, except for the shows. I cannot finish the shows. The only show I've actually been able to watch start to finish is Loki. It's the only one I've enjoyed. All of the other ones I've dropped after like 3 episodes. They're so fucking boring, and they're just always the same goddamn thing. I'm watching carbon copies of one another, like just clones. I feel like I'm taking absolute crazy pills here, getting hit by like an insanity beam from space. It really just seems every show for Marvel follows the exact same formula, as well as the movies. I liked the new Doctor Strange, even though a lot of people didn't. I had fun with it, but it's a movie I haven't thought about since finishing the viewing. It's not like I forget that I watched them. Like, I have fun in the moment, and then it's immediately erased from my memory like the Men in Black just kicked down my door to take it out with a neuralizer. It's movies that are just fun to shove some popcorn in your face and enjoy like 2-hour ride, but that's about it. And there's nothing wrong with that. But when it comes to its shows and its movies, I just feel like all of the superhero content follows the exact same formula. Every character is pretty much exactly the same except for their powers. They're always constantly quipping, making short little jokes with one another, undercutting the serious moments with humor at every step. It's just hard to like get invested when you know exactly how all of these are going to play out. It's also just hard to care when it seems like there's no goal. One thing that really helped with Marvel in particular is all of it tied into the Avengers and getting to that in-game situation. Like, all of it had a big purpose, which I feel like it's completely lacking now. Like, I didn't even realize we were in phase 4 or phase 5, and now we're moving into phase 6 or some shit. Like, none of this has any meaning to me. It's all completely worthless nonsense. Phase 6 now? Like, who the fuck cares? What happened in phase 4 or 5? Like, yeah, there were some good movies there that I enjoyed, but do they tie into each other? Is there an actual goal? I have no clue. And I guess it doesn't necessarily have to be tie-ins. It'd be fine if they're their own standalone things, but if they were actually unique with an interesting identity, but they're not. They don't tie in, yet they still follow the exact same formula. I don't know, it seems completely aimless. They're just always making as much superhero shit as possible, just going purely for the big quantity play. And it's working. Like, I know they're all still doing well, but I have to wonder how much longer they can continue to milk this dry tit. I can't imagine I'm alone here. I know there is a lot of people experiencing superhero fatigue, but I just don't know how big it is. Now, one other thing I'd like to at least bring up here in reference to all this is that this Marvel/DC superhero formula is something that's really infected a lot of other movies and shows because they're trying to emulate that same formula. To give you an example, the new Dungeons and Dragons movie coming out, they dropped the trailer. I felt like I was watching a Marvel trailer. They took all of the same beats that the superhero movies and shows do and translated it to D&D. So they basically just took a Marvel movie and gave it a D&D skin. At least that's what the trailer leads me to believe. Every character is doing the same shit they do in Marvel. They're constantly making jokes, they're quipping, everyone's so quirky. The writing feels exactly the same. The trailer feels exactly the same. They also get some of the Dungeons and Dragons shit wrong, as I understand it. I'm not a huge D&D guy. I only have very limited experience with campaigns. But they're just very much going for that big spectacle stuff that Marvel's known for while putting jokes into it at every single step. And I'm just so tired of it. Like, not every character needs to be Tony Stark. This all started because Tony Stark was such a popular character, and he had great writing. He had great jokes, he had great lines, but he was really the only one doing those jokes and those lines in that movie initially. And going forward, they started to like kind of integrate that same personality trait to all of their other characters. Thor, I do think, started as like goofy jokes and stuff like that, so I wouldn't necessarily say that was influenced there. But bringing it forward into every other character, they kept taking little elements of that and putting it into those characters where it didn't need to be. In fact, I think it detracts from it. Not every character should be joking all the time. Like, that just doesn't make any sense to me. It's too much. And just in general, too much of superheroes overall. I really think they need to dial it back a little bit and give themselves a little more time to let it cook in the oven and deliver something more tasty, something better than what we're currently getting, because it feels like it's just written by a bot now. A bot that knows the formula and keeps churning it out as quickly as possible for maximum turnaround and profit. I'm just a little over it, and I wanted to share my opinion on it because so many new shows and movies have been announced for superheroes that I keep getting asked about, and I just want to make it clear I'm not like looking forward to watching them. I'm sure I will watch them and at least have a decent time. Like, it's not like a waste of time to watch them, but it's not like I'm eagerly, biting at my nails waiting for it either. It's something that I'll watch for the sake of a moist meter, but past that, it's not like I'm excited for the content coming up, because I feel like I know exactly what we're going to get, and it's just something that I'm tired of getting. And yeah, anyway, that's about it. So, yeah.
Initiating moisture.
Welcome to the Moist Meter. Today we're taking a look at the new Thor movie, Love and Thunder. This is again directed by Taika Waititi, who directed the previous Thor movie, Ragnarok, which I absolutely loved. I had a lot of fun watching that movie. However, unlike Ragnarok, I didn't absolutely love this one, and I didn't have that much fun watching it. Watch out, wild opinion coming out of nowhere to catch you off guard. Bet you didn't expect that shit coming in so hard and so fast. The god of surprises. But yeah, anyway, I was unfortunately let down with this film since I was a big fan of Ragnarok. I had high expectations going into this one, but walked away a bit disappointed. It's not a bad movie by any means. I don't want anyone to get that twisted. I'm not saying this movie's trash or dog shit or anything like that. But it just felt like it was trying so hard to be like Ragnarok, where it leans really heavy on comedy, that it almost became like a bootleg or like a parody of itself. None of the jokes were really landing. In Ragnarok, I had a lot of giggles and genuine belly laughs throughout the film. In this movie, I didn't laugh once. The jokes just weren't landing. I felt like Ebenezer Scrooge just sitting there fucking stone-faced. Now, I know it sounds a little weird focusing so heavy on criticizing the comedy of this film, but that's really what this whole movie is. It's fundamentally a Marvel Universe rom-com, and they would not stop making jokes. This was a movie that didn't take its own plot seriously. Ragnarok had a problem where even like the most serious moments were undercut with jokes here and there. This whole movie, everything is undercut with jokes, top to bottom. It doesn't fucking stop. So if the movie doesn't care about its plot, why the fuck are the audience supposed to care about it? It just doesn't work. The big standout for this film was Gore. Christian Bale as Gore the God Butcher was fantastic. Actually a really cool villain. All the scenes he was in, all like 4 of them, he was barely in the movie, but every time he was on screen, he was good. Like, he was the best part of this movie by far. Everything else just kind of falls flat because at every step of the way, they're just joking the whole time. There are a few serious moments, but they only last like a split second before Korg will come in and make a quip or something like that. It just doesn't stop. It is basically just a comedy movie with some action in there. The action is good, especially a fight between the main cast and Gore on like a small little planet. It has like this black and white filter to it almost, and it's really cool. It's really well done. But outside of like the action and anything involving gore, it's just underwhelming. And again, it wasn't just me that wasn't laughing during the film. I was in a full crowded theater, and pretty much no one was busting a gut laughing or slapping their knee having a hoot and a holler. Very rarely did anyone like laugh during this film. The dude behind me even audibly sighed very loud, which is pretty douchey, but sighed when Korg made his millionth quip of the film. Korg was one of my favorite parts of Ragnarok. Every time he spoke, it was entertaining. In this movie, he's like a core character and never stops making jokes. He's like a fucking Reddit user trying to farm karma. And one of Jackson's friends even called this movie Reddit the Movie, and it's pretty accurate. Again, the focal point of this movie is its comedy, which is why I'm talking about it so much. That is the main meat and potatoes here, and it didn't do it very well. And especially not compared to how they did it in Ragnarok. But now moving on to like the actual narrative here, it's definitely not bad, but it's not great. It's not an amazing plot by any means, but it's certainly serviceable. But there are so many plot conveniences that it starts to take you out. I'm not going to get into spoilers, but so many things happen in this movie where it's like, wow, what a coincidence. That's super lucky. Oh, wow, that timing couldn't have been better. Oh, the meeting of the gods is today? Oh, wow, okay, good. I guess that's just when we needed it. Like, there's just certain moments that feel like it's almost a Saturday morning cartoon level of, oh, that's convenient. Like, it doesn't feel earned half the time. Like, it's hard to talk about without spoilers, but one thing they can do in this film is they can be pretty much anywhere in the universe whenever they want to be, thanks to, of course, like the Bifrost. But even when they're not using the Bifrost, and there's some time where they don't have the Bifrost, when they don't have the Bifrost, they can still be anywhere in the universe exactly when they want to be. They can just instantly be there, even without the Bifrost for some reason, somehow. So there's never any, like, stakes when it comes to tracking down Gore once they know where he is. It's never, like, a tough journey to get there because they can just instantly appear there somehow, even when the Bifrost wasn't available. It's just, I don't know, there's a lot of moments here that just don't really work super well from a narrative perspective, but I like the overall plot. You know, I actually like the relationship between Thor and Jane. I think they did a decent enough job of making us care about the two of them. You know, Jane is now a Thor. She's been chosen by Thor's ex-Hammer, and they haven't seen each other in a long time, so it's all about, like, rekindling that relationship, and I think they actually handle it pretty well. And Jane's pretty good as Thor. I think she does a great job. She's fun to watch in the action scenes, and it's just pretty badass, anything that involves action. The visuals were really good. I mean, as you would expect, it's Marvel, but I actually really liked it because it was such a heavy emphasis on, like, space shit, which I'm always a sucker for. So they even have, like, a fucking boat that's shooting out, like, a rainbow road with the Bifrost that's being pulled by some goats, and it's cool. It's cool to look at. There's a lot of cool moments. But just know those cool moments are going to be soon behind you when they're interrupted with yet another joke that falls flat for the millionth fucking time in the film. I'd like to stress again, this isn't a shitty movie. This isn't some dumpster fire of a film, but it is absolutely carried by its visuals, its action, and its villain. But the action, visuals, and villain are pretty goddamn good. And like I said, I do like the relationship between Thor and Jane. I actually thought they did a great job with that, especially since most of the heavy lifting with that relationship had to be done in this movie. Because prior to Love and Thunder, the two of them didn't really have a whole lot going on together. I never really thought that they had a great, like, well-built relationship, so this movie had to do a lot to make you actually give a fuck about that, and I think it did a decent enough job at that. Plugging Thor Love and Thunder into the moist meter, I'm giving it a 65%. I don't think it's a bad movie or anything like that. I think there's some good moments, but overall, it's just almost like a rom-com Marvel movie where a lot of it just takes the wind out of its own sails by just making unstoppable, unrelenting amounts of jokes, most of which don't really land. So yeah, that's really about it. So yeah. You know how everyone's been saying that Marvel's kind of fallen off? The quality of its shows and even its movies has just been dwindling to a point where it's not really exciting to see them anymore and they're kind of stinky. Whoo-wee! Wait until you see the Marvels. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. I mean this with no exaggeration. The Marvels is the MCU's messiest movie to date, and it's not even close. I actually can't even believe the movie released in its current state. It almost feels like this is internal sabotage from someone on the inside trying to sink the MCU and make it go even lower, because it's like nobody even bothered to watch what they were putting out there. I really thought Ant-Man Quantumania would probably be the worst modern Marvel movie we'd ever get. How wrong I was. It's like they took every single criticism that's ever been thrown against the MCU and said, oh, you thought that was bad, watch this, and then did all of it 10 times worse. It feels as though they shot 4 different films and then took some elements from each one, haphazardly threw them all together into this witch's cauldron here, bubbling over into this fucking potion that induces a headache in all of the spectators. This movie is fundamentally like 4 action sequences that are loosely strung together with the worst narrative the MCU's ever had, because it doesn't even try to develop the characters or their relationships. I'm gonna go ahead and get my only compliment about this movie out of the way right now. I've never seen the Miss Marvel show, so this movie was my introduction to Miss Marvel, and she is great. Both the actress playing Miss Marvel and even the character I think has so much potential in the universe. She is the only good thing about this movie. She fucking kills it. Miss Marvel is the only thing this movie does well, but it's not nearly enough to save it or even make this worth watching. It doesn't redeem the 150 minutes that get flushed down the shitter. So let's go ahead and dive in. The biggest mistake this movie makes is with its villain. The most forgettable villain in MCU history, the most underdeveloped villain in MCU history. I don't know how we're in 2023 with like fucking 15 years worth of MCU movies, and a big criticism was underdeveloped villains in some of the movies, and somehow this deep into the game, phase fucking 5 here, they deliver the worst villain they've ever had. I can't even remember her name. I have to keep looking it up and then I still forget it. That's how forgettable she is. I think her name is Danber. I looked it up again. Darbin. Her name is Darbin. Fundamentally, she is like Ronin if Ronin was written in 5 minutes. Like, all she does is she creates some portals that suck things up occasionally. And that's it. Spoilers, I'll tell you her motivation, and it's only explained in a couple of lines of dialogue. Instead of showing you, they just tell you. It really does feel like a lot of this was AI generated at the last possible second. I'm just gonna fucking say it. Basically, Captain Marvel made a decision that had a huge effect on the Kree and caused a lot of problems for them. Darbin, being one of the Kree, will do anything to try and save them. She hates Captain Marvel and thus wants to take things from her in order to help save the Kree, basically. And since this is only explained in a few lines of dialogue that feel almost like throwaway lines, there's no actual emotional investment here. Since they don't bother to flesh out Darbin at all, she becomes kind of like this villain caricature, this cartoonishly evil presence that's evil for the sake of being nasty. And even when Darbin and Captain Marvel are on screen together, there's still no emotional weight to anything that happens because they're speed running through shit and barely even attempting to make something cohesive. But she's not really a big threat, because they make it clear early on that the only reason she's not defeated easily by Captain Marvel is because the big gimmick of the movie keeps happening where they switch places when they use their powers. So Miss Marvel even says, like, I know you could absolutely just fucking clobber her if we would stop switching places, and I'm sorry about that. And she's right, because the main villain isn't very strong. And in fact, every time they meet her, they pretty much do defeat her until she just miraculously pulls out like a big force blast that opens up that portal at the last possible second. But even aside from just the super weak villain, this movie is tonally all over the place. The vast majority of the film doesn't take itself seriously. It's mainly like a Thor Love and Thunder fucking flat comedy where almost none of the jokes are landing. The worst offender is actually Nick Fury. Nick Fury has a prominent role here, but he's just literally a clown. I don't think he has a single line of dialogue in this movie that isn't a joke or leading into a punchline. Even when the stakes are super high, like, oh, we might, lose the world here if Darbin's plan goes correctly. And even when he's about to fucking die, he's making jokes the entire time. What happened to this character? It's not even consistent with the Nick Fury that we know, or the one that was in Secret Invasion, which I didn't finish because I didn't really like it that much. But this is not the same character. They replaced him with a goofball. Like I don't understand what even happened here. Almost every single scene outside of action is all over the place. It wants to be like this wacky, quirky, zany comedy, and then sometimes it wants to be like a drama, and then sometimes it wants to be more action focused. It's at its best when it's doing action. I think some of the action scenes are pretty decent, though there are moments here where you can really feel the tears from the CGI artists that have to work on this. They are just overworked. The VFX department at Marvel, like, I can feel their pain through some of these scenes because a lot of them feel as though they didn't have time to actually finish it. I don't hold it against them. It's just the Marvel pipeline where they're constantly just fucking pumping shit out as quickly as possible without a care in the world. But there are some action sequences that look alarmingly rough in the CGI department. But for the most part, the action is pretty okay. Like, it's pretty fun, especially like the final fight is interesting, I guess. But it doesn't really matter that much because there's not a real movie around it. You're basically just watching like a montage of some decent action moments, and that's it. So anyway, back to what I was saying. In between these action sequences, when it's trying to do a bunch of different things, it fails on all fronts. Let me give you an example. So there's a planet they visit, and it's a planet that means a lot to Captain Marvel. And the inhabitants of that world only communicate through song. If you just speak, they can't understand you. It basically has to be a musical. And I think it is the most insufferable sequence or series of scenes the MCU's ever had. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, if this was a Rick and Morty sketch, fine. Like, this feels like it fit right at home in some kind of Saturday morning cartoon special as like a joke. But this comes in the middle of the film where things are getting desperate, where the villain's succeeding, and like, this is a planet Captain Marvel really cares about, and it's about to get fucked in the ass. And it's like, okay, why are we having like a musical here about this and not taking anything seriously? And even when they fail to protect it, 10 seconds later, Captain Marvel's joking. Like, this is a place she called home 5 minutes ago. She fucking fails to protect it from Dar-Benn, and she immediately just starts joking about it. And then the next scene, pretty much, they go into this whole cat subplot. This whole side quest with cats, and Nick Fury, and cats. Like, it's all over the place. You can't take it seriously if the movie itself doesn't take it seriously and isn't actually held together by anything at all. There's no real substance here. The only time this movie even comes close to making an emotional beat work is between Captain Marvel and Monica Rambeau. They have a relationship that is loosely explored and only one time successfully gets across the weight of it. And that's through this sequence where they're seeing each other's memories. They all kind of tap into this thing that's showing memories, and they do a good job of setting up Captain Marvel and Monica there. But outside of that, anytime they try and explore that, they don't give it any real chance. Like, it just falls flat again. They have one good emotional scene with that, and then completely forgot how to do it appropriately because they were too busy focusing on lame humor. And going into the film, I imagine a lot of you think that the switching of places is going to be integral to the plot. It's really not. Like, it's used occasionally, but it doesn't even follow its own rules for the switching sometimes. Like, they forget to switch. It's supposed to be when they, like, use their powers at the same time they switch, but there's multiple scenes where they both, or all three of them really, will use their powers at pretty much the same time and not switch. It's like they forgot that that gimmick was even present sometimes. And it doesn't really play a role in the narrative outside of explaining why Dar-Benn just can't be easily defeated by Captain Marvel. So while I think the concept could have been fun to explore, like, these three characters need to work together in order to overcome an overwhelmingly powerful enemy and somehow use this to their advantage, the ability to switch places. Somehow they take that and just make it like, we'll utilize it sometimes, but it doesn't really matter. And even at the end of the movie, they just kind of throw it away. They just wipe their ass with it. They just say like, oh, we're not entangled anymore. It's like, oh, okay. Well, okay then. I guess so. It's like, come on. Like, I don't know what went wrong here. In its current state, the movie only works if you want to go and just watch some mindless action and then not listen to any of the dialogue or the story. Like, that's probably the only way you can get any amount of enjoyment out of it. Because like I said, some of the action is pretty good, but like, that doesn't make a movie. You still need more than that. And it's not like the action is anything new to the MCU. It's all still very generic for the most part. There's nothing new here, aside from new lows that it reached with how little it actually cared. And now I have no idea what they're even going to do with these characters going forward, because this movie did nothing to progress any of them except Miss Marvel. Miss Marvel, like I said, is the only component of this film that works at all. She is the only good part of this movie. Monica, I think, could have been great here. I think WandaVision was building up to Monica being a very strong and interesting character, but this movie just ruined it. They didn't let her do anything until the very end. I won't spoil that, but at the very end she becomes the most important character pretty much out of nowhere, because up until then, she didn't get to do anything. Like, they didn't develop her or even try, and it's such a shame. And I don't know what the fuck they're going to do with Nick Fury going forward. Maybe they'll try and explain away his behavior here as him being some kind of variant from an alternate universe or something that got fucking slapped into this movie. Because I don't know what the fuck their plan is. They turned him into comic relief, purely just comic relief and nothing else, which is such a wild decision. Anyway, plugging the Marvels into the moist meter, I'm going to have to give it like a 25%. It is the messiest MCU movie that has been made. I think I can comfortably say that. Just, I'm still shocked that it released in this current state that it's in. That's really about it. It's not looking great for the MCU going forward here. I don't know how they bounce back. I don't know what direction they even take the MCU anymore. But I guess we'll just have to see. That's it. See ya.